technical team responsible to guide the government and the ministry when it comes to ICTs. Mr. Deputy Government Spokesman, thank you very much, and we consider it an honor, and my boss, Mr. CTO Cobba, we consider it an opportunity to showcase and to communicate to the press, because when we talk about fiber, it's like a myth. Many times when people realize that we're working for government, specifically in the ministry responsible for ICTs, we'll have several questions we would always need to answer to in relation to this fiber optic. But today what we intend to do is to break the myth so that you and I will be able to understand clearly what this whole thing is about and what government actually intends to do. So by reason of such, we had to firstly inform the leadership of the government through the ministry yesterday, and like the Deputy Minister said, it was really amazing and successful because many came to understand exactly how much value these projects that are ongoing, or specifically the fiber, would add to the ordinary man. So we captioned our presentation yesterday as in developing an open access network to stimulate growth in the digital economy in Sierra Leone. And then, please, if I say anything that you need to expand upon that will not be handled in this session, our doors are open. It's open governance. You can come to us and then we can give you all the necessary information that you need so that you can better inform the public. You know, there is this common saying that the fiber still the optic, you know, calm down yet. Fiber, they calm down. Okay, it's coming down. Our vision welcome, sir. The vision of the government through the leadership of the Ministry of Information and Communications is leveraging ICTs for knowledge and prosperity by creating the enabling environment for reliable, accessible, and affordable connectivity for all. You and I know that checking out of Freetown, just after Waterloo, you begin to experience drop in the quality of calls. Are we experiencing that? Is that true? Am I lying? That happens. It shows that we still have gaps existing that needs to be closed. Today, we all still grumble that the cost of services are still very high. And some people can't access it at all. When you go to the remote places up country, you would realize that some people will tell you, I have to go to a particular location in order to be able to get the right coverage. And that's a challenge. And with the existence of this, the government has decided through this ministry to close these gaps. It's a question of complementing the operators so that the needed services will reach the desired people. Basically, we all know that the submarine cable was landed in February of was commissioned for public use in February of 2013. But till date, we still experience some critical challenges when it comes to the cost of services. As is right now, for an STM4 capacity, which is 620 megabits per second is being sold at about $63,000 to $64,000 to an operator. If you do the mathematics, it means 1 megabit per second is approximately $88. And in which case, many are still selling the bandwidth per megabit per second for $1,000 and even more. That is unfair. I'm not talking because I'm working for government. I still buy bandwidth, which I use in my home. That is unfair. So these are existing challenges that need to be overcome. For a country which has a per capita GDP of $513 as of 2013. That's a huge challenge. This explains the reason why we have an internet penetration of 1.7% as of 2014. That's really a challenge because it's not affordable and it's not available to all. So, through the leadership of this ministry, on behalf of government, we are working to close these gaps. We are still experiencing high rate in call drops and even the quality of calls. Somebody can be seated by you, and at the same time when you call that person, they will say the phone is off. It's a challenge, and I believe it's affecting all of us, and we want to close this gap. So I want to move further. There has been huge investment in the infrastructure, in laying this infrastructure. The submarine cable is landed, and there are 2 terrestrial projects about to close down this year. The reason being, with the huge capacity seated at the landing station, because we don't have the terrestrial network capable of taking that capacity and distributing it or making it accessible within country, that's why we still have this challenge. Of course, this is being done primarily via microwave, but microwave is susceptible to atmospheric change, and it also has limitations when it comes to the capacity of traffic that can be handled within a particular time. But here's the thing, 2 key things that the fiber does for us. 1, I want you to take this very seriously. The fiber is just a cable, it's just a medium. But what it does is this. 1, it has huge capacity. It provides a platform to transport huge capacity from one point to the other. 2, it is used primarily for long distance communications. If you look at the cable we are talking about at the landing station, which is the Africa coast to Europe, ACE cable, is here, but it's connected right to Europe. That is long distance. And you still get the capacity you need and the quality of service you need. So primarily those are the 2 things the fiber will do for us. So we will have enough capacity and we'll be able to take that capacity to the farthest possible distance. These projects are about to close. The national backbone, starting from Lungay in the northern axis or northwest, through Potloko, Rogwe, Makeni, through the northern axis onto Kwaidu. And from Makeni onto Bumbuna. Then we have the ECOWAS Regional Backbone Project, or the ECOWAS Wide Area Network Project, which is ECOWAN, moving from the northern axis for the border of Guinea, through Potloko, coming down Maishaka, Bo, Kenima, Zini, and Jendeba onto the Liberian border. And it has a spur at Maishaka to hit the capital city. So it shows that to a very large extent, we are going to be fully connected. In which case, what will happen? It will spur, it will provide a platform for sustainable development. Because here's the thing, everything is going digital. This is a road. The traditional roads are being built such that whatever vehicle you have or whatever means of transportation you have
you can ply the road. This is a road, but it's not physical, it is virtual. And government has taken the initiative to build this virtual platform so that the services are like the human beings boarding the transport. I want to make this analogy very clear. The operators or the service providers, they own the vehicle that is going to transport the you and I. Just as in the traditional roads, you have the roads built and you have the vehicles or whatever means of transportation that is boarded by the individual. So the platform we are putting together is a self-sustainable platform, is a next generation, we call it NGN, next generation network, that is capable to move every service irrespective of the source or the destination. As long as it is moving across the path of this network, it will be transported seamlessly. So what will happen? We want to, at the end of the day, after putting together this platform, we want to ensure that everybody, irrespective of your location, your beliefs, your belonging, your social values, we want to make sure that these services are accessible by all at an affordable rate and reliably. So in which case, after putting together this backbone, the ministry is now working to close the gap on the distribution network by putting together metro networks within the cities along the cables. So eventually, we will have a high-speed wireless network and hybrid of a high-speed wireless network plus fiber, which is a metro fiber via aerial cables. You and I know that in the cities right now, not only Freetown, even up country, most of them have solar poles. And we can leverage on these existing infrastructure to roll out the metro networks at the fastest possible time. So in which case, you know today, prior to now, it was only voice. Now we are moving into applications we call OTT, on the top applications, like your WhatsApp, your Facebook applications, your Viber, your Twitter, these kind of things. Now, when the capacity will be there, you know, our needs and our demands are going to change based on the available capacity. So in which case, when these needs and demands change, we are already foreseen into the future by putting together a capable network that will take the capacity to your homes, which is AL fiber. So, when we have this, what will happen? We'll have the opportunity to roll out services like cable TV that is capable of taking triple play services to the end user. That is voice, video, like internet, TV, IPTV, and data, which is internet traffic, all on a single link terminating in the premises. This network is capable of doing that. This is not a magic. It works. It is working in other places. Why not Sierra Leone? So that is the thinking of government through the advice of the professionals being employed by government. But here's the thing. It's not only for the public. Even government, we want to be connected. And we are going to be the first people that are going to use this service. By the end of this month, or even currently, we have about 43 MVAs that will be benefiting from a high-speed broadband wireless network that will be interconnecting these MVAs. The installations are complete as we speak right now. It's a question of activating the circuits at the landing station so that we begin to say bye-bye to the huge cost we are incurring from these ISPs. That's a big blow, but we want to cut down costs and reinvest the benefits into viable opportunities that will ensure that everyone gets a feel of what we're talking about. So we are going to be fully connected, we are going to be activated. So when you come here, I'm telling you this because I know, as the Chief Technology Officer here, I'm telling you this because I know. We want to ensure by the time you come here before this year ends, you are having high-speed broadband wireless service in here. You will experience it so that you take the message to the people. That is for this month, end of July, end of June. And we also have another phase we want to do, which we call quick win, within 60 to 90 days, after going through all the bureaucracies. We want to ensure there are points of presence within the cities, which the service providers can leverage and just tap into and take the service to the end users. Just one hub. That's a bit technical. Just one hub, and they take the service to the end users. We want to put together this capable platform. Because here's the thing, and I know because I'm of telecoms background, the installations of operators is based on economic interest. But the government has a social responsibility to its people. So if certain initiatives are not taken, many people might not experience what we're talking about here. So that is why we are going to this next stage. And these kind of platforms, with these platforms, the operators wouldn't need, the internet service providers specifically, wouldn't need to put together networks that is specific to them within these cities. They can just leverage what is existing and they can serve the banks, serve the industries, just like that. A virtual path will be created within this network that is uniquely identifying their services. That is technology. We won't go there, but it is possible. And that is how we have advised government that this is the best way forward to achieve universal access, which is access to everyone, even the served, underserved, and unserved areas. It is possible because this cable is traversing more than 2/3 of the country. And the finances recouped thereafter from these investments will be poured into the sector again to close existing gaps. So at the end of the day, everybody will have access to these services. The operators will have the opportunity to connect to this backbone, in which case there wouldn't be any need for the microwaves, because they have a weakness of not having the potential to take huge capacity, and at the same time they are susceptible to atmospheric changes. So the reliable link via fiber will eliminate those limitations, and it will reduce their operational cost, because maintaining the base stations is critical to their operational cost. It's one of the huge costs they incur. So that is going to take it off from them. So we expect that at the end of the day, when these reductions in cost are taking place, the ripple effect will be felt in what you and I pay for services they provide. That's the intention. So you see, it's really strategic on the side of government. Today, there was a time somebody came to interview us on analog to digital migration. This platform, like I said, is a next generation platform that will reduce the capital investment of potential investors in the sector, in which case they wouldn't need to put together transmission links because it's already there. All they will need, if they want to broadcast, for example, in this community, like for example in Freetown, all SFBC has heating the entire city is at Leicester Peak. Am I lying? Can I be corrected? So what they will need to do, they will tap into the cable and they have their transmitter that they want to use to broadcast to these communities. So all transmitting the signal from the processing center, their NOC, onto the point of broadcasting has been taken care of by this network. So the intention is, let service providers focus on the delivery of service, and the government puts together the transportation, the virtual transportation platform to take the services to the end users. That is really the intention. In which case, what will happen? We'll have better quality of service, lower cost, and higher bandwidth. And what will happen? It will translate our lives as individuals. we'll begin to talk about innovations. Within communities, we'll begin to have local startups. Like for example, if an ISP can't reach my village, somebody in my village will say, okay, I will buy bandwidth from say Airtel or Airtel or let's say Afcom, and I will do a public Wi-Fi in my village. I create wealth and at the same time being able to serve the needs of my community. I'll give you a simple example, which you know, and I've heard that people saying that over radios. During this Ebola, there is this television teaching program. But you would agree with me that it is geographically limited. It's mostly covered in Freetown, and possibly some places up country. But with this platform, SMBC can be heard in the farthest village as long as this cable exists. It makes it easy and simple, and we begin to feel the effect of search. So, let me tell you some desirable outcomes as I close. There is so much to it, but I have to wrap up because time is always not in our favor. But we still have to make do of what we have. The desirable outcomes are: one, the creation of an open access network that will stimulate growth and innovation in the sector. Open because anybody can traverse their traffic on the network. It's not dependent on anybody. Operators will become customer to the management company that will handle this infrastructure.